Hi guys, welcome to sunny Scotland. This is a hoarder's guide to Glasgow with me, Sgàire Wood. So let's get our hands dirty. Today, we're going to be doing kind of hyper-real, supernatural, big eyes, big lips, big nose, big everything kind of look. First step is we need to get all my hair out of the way. So I'm going to do that. I like to try and make myself kind of look like a doll, like one of those like creepy porcelain ones. That kind of like rounding out of the face. The bigger the things around you are, the smaller you look. Like wearing oversized clothes makes your body look smaller, and like having big eyes makes your head look smaller. To play with this sort of idea of feminine and petite and baby-like. So I'm going to start by cleaning my face, and then we're going to put on some foundation. Really love that like it runs in my family to get an insanely red face. We're going to get rid of that right now. So I grew up in Northern Ireland. I think I was always like artistic, or like just read as like queer, but like artistic. And it was really funny because I went to an all-boys school. Because it's Northern Ireland, they didn't really think they needed to have a rule about like makeup, because it was like no one would have wanted to wear it anyway. I would like put like a full face of like white foundation on, and then use a makeup wipe to just like rub out the dark bags under my eyes, so that I looked like as unhealthy as possible. Well, I did have like friends whenever I was a teenager, but I think I struggled to find like people who were interested in the same things as I was for the most part. So I spent a lot of time on the internet. It's really like part of the sort of queer millennial experience to find your like sense of like identity and belonging online. So next I'm going to start mapping onto my face where I want to do features later. I guess I started experimenting with like drag whenever I moved to art school. I think a lot of it was because I studied fashion and textiles, which I kind of always thought that was what I wanted to do with my life and my career. I didn't really enjoy it. Like I didn't particularly enjoy sewing that much. I was in it because I wanted to make like haphazardly constructed garments for myself and not have to really worry about like the industry or like being sellable. So then I started like playing with makeup more and like actually wearing makeup to look like a different person as opposed to a dead person with big eyebrows. And I needed like an outlet. Drag performance sort of offered that. But yeah, like I much kind of prefer just putting on makeup and maybe performing a sad song to a quiet room of like 5 people. Maybe it was like 5 years ago I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And a big part of that for me was sort of like a disrupted sense of identity and like not really knowing who I was and feeling like I didn't really exist. And it was kind of like a weird time mentally. And I sort of find that a lot of that was related to like my love of like historical stuff and historical costume, because in contrast to the present moment where like everything is changing around you and like you have to deal with being like an ever-changing person. But I love like history because it's already happened. Historical aesthetics sort of functioned for me for a while as like a stand-in for a solid sense of like who I actually was, like identity-wise. I got diagnosed around the same time as I came out as trans person as well, which was a really fun couple of months. I identify as a trans woman, but also as gender non-conforming. And I think like understandably a lot of people find that confusing. They sort of think like, well, how can you be trans and gender non-conforming? If you're transgender, you're conforming to a gender. But really mostly what I mean by that is that like I'm trans because I identify as something that I wasn't assigned at birth, but I don't necessarily see that as a reason why I should have to behave a certain way. Just the act of like not medically transitioning or not feeling the need to pass as a cis woman is an act of like gender non-conformity. So next step, we'll go in and draw in the waterline. We've got a big tear duct today, that's fine. Usually what I do now is we'll kind of start to do like a shadowy shading thing just around the whole eye. If I make this stupid face, like It allows you to stretch out. Rome wasn't built in a day. It was built over a series of really unfortunate makeup looks. Whew, that was close. Swatches. I guess not only the makeup, but also the way that I dress whenever I'm like doing these looks and stuff is to kind of self-infantilize. I think there's like, I'm uncomfortable with like the sexualization of my body, because to be sexual is to be gendered a lot of the time. And that's not comfortable for me, I think. I think like the kind of desexualized like baby doll is born out of that need to be like, no, I'm just like a baby. I'm just a child. Leave me alone. I never got a girlhood the first time round, so I'm gonna dress like a toddler in my mid-20s. So I think we're getting somewhere. Now I'm probably gonna go in with a darker color just to really emphasize this like depth. Ooh, she is uneven. Okay, now let's crack into these brows. I don't have any eyebrows. I shaved my eyebrows off because like, obviously it provides more sort of like room to play with whenever you're doing makeup like this, and it's a lot less preparation time. But also my eyebrows were just like not a very nice shape. Now we're going to just line the eye with black and then maybe start drawing on some lashes. So I'll usually do like a full set, and then I used to just not wear any lashes on top of these, but sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, I'll put a pair. So we want to cover like everything, and we're gonna draw ourselves a new lip shape. Sometimes you just catch like sight of yourself doing this, like So I'm just going to use what was left of that colour that I mixed up on my hand and add in a little bit of like a darker brown, and we're going to just go over those lines. Final step for the lips is the highlights. Do them as if they're like catching the like those ridges that you naturally have on your lips. Okay, now that we look suitably insane, let's do the nose as well. It's the only thing that seems to be missing here, right? We want to take my reasonably pointy nose and make it kind of like a little bit more like round. Okay, we're gonna do the eyes, finally. So today I think we'll go for maybe like a nice bluey, greeny, tealy eye color. There are some moments in this where I just kind of go like, what now? I don't know. I feel like I'm always very reluctant to like call myself a performance artist, because there is that part of me that is like, who do you think you are? Like, you're just putting makeup on and like dancing in front of people, like you're not an artist. That's just something you need to drown out and like not pay attention to. I know I was saying earlier that, like, the importance of being self-aware and not getting too ahead of yourself, but also like, also you need to know what you deserve, and like you need to know that like, yeah, it's like, just because you're like scared of getting laughed at for like taking yourself too seriously, if you feel it, if you genuinely feel entitled to, you know, the world would really benefit from me doing this, I would really benefit from doing this, then. But like, I go to exhibitions all the time where people have been paid so much money and given so much space to exhibit like the same thing over and over again, and they're not saying anything. So if you've got something to say, you should have a place to say it. I'm now just going to do all of the highlights on the eyes. So highlights in the iris, do the star shape that I'm going to do on the pupil. So that is our nice subtle eye highlight finished. Very subtle, very realistic. We've also done some on the cheeks. I think the next logical step would be to put in my contact lenses, which is a bit of a messy process. So I'm going to do it off camera because I'm a very refined young woman. Perfect. Okay, so now top lashes first. Or should we do bottom lashes first? Let's try our best to match it up. Okay, I think we're done here. Let's go find the perfect outfit to complement this stunning makeup look. this is the final look. I think it's going to transition me really smoothly from day to night. We're wearing the exact same silhouette I always wear, which is this nice big shape-eliminating baby doll puff ball. And I've paired it with these nice little pumps that came to me in a dream, so I thought I would make them. I can keep the time in 6 different countries. I feel like this outfit's only missing one thing, so I'm going to take you to one of my favourite little hidden gems in Glasgow to pick up the perfect pair of earrings. Love it. I might just stay here.